Good take or deep reach?
What's up, everyone? It's Randip and Dan here for another edition of Good Take or Deep Reach. And we got a good one to start off with this week. It's the Calgary Flames. They are losing yet again. They lost another game to the Ottawa Senators. They got embarrassed, and the heat is on in Calgary. So the question is, expectations were high, but did we overrate the offseason for the Calgary Flames? Good take or deep reach?
That's a good take, Randy. We definitely overrated the offseason by the Calgary Flames. I mean, this team needed a lot of things, but what it didn't really need, in my opinion, was goaltending and spending all that money on Jacob Markstrom. He's a good goalie, but I don't think that was the area that the Flames truly needed to upgrade. Also, Chris Tanev, they could use more offense from the back end, but a stay-at-home D-man, giving him that kind of a contract. We definitely looked at the big dollars they spent, but didn't actually look at, is this actually going to upgrade their team?
That's a deep reach, man. Come on, though. Look, anytime you add a good player, an elite goaltender, and a very good stay-at-home defenseman in Chris Tanev, who stabilizes your back end, of course it is a good move. It's a deep reach that we overrated their offseason. The problem is, and this has been an issue in Calgary for a very long time, it's the players you have there already. Was this a good team to start off? I would argue not. Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan, that's where it starts. This isn't about Chris Tanev and Jacob Markstrom. They make them better, but are your star players good enough to take you to the promised land? I don't believe that they are. I haven't believed that they are. And this, to me, is about Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan. How many coaches are you going to fire before you realize they ain't the answer?
Randy, this is where you're wrong, man, because they spent all that money on a goalie and a defenseman, but it didn't truly fix the problem on this team. Like, it's not, yes, getting Jacob Markstrom does make the Flames better. It makes them look better. It hides a lot of their flaws. It's like putting a pair of 18-inch chrome rims on a 1993 Honda Civic. You know, it's still a 1993 Honda Civic, but it might look a little bit nicer for the time being. That's all Jacob Markstrom does. He's a great goalie, but even still, I mean, his save percentage was basically the same as David Riddick last year at 5-on-5. The big difference was Markstrom more prone to make the big save, and we've seen that. But they've ridden him into the ground, and now he's gotten hurt, just like what happened in Vancouver last year. So that was not the solution this team needed. They needed to go after a number one center. They let Pierre-Luc Dubois go off to the Winnipeg Jets, and that's why the Flames are in the spot that they're in.
Okay, Jacob Markstrom is the answer. Anytime you can add an all-star level goalie, you do it, Reach. So I disagree with you there. But beyond that, though, looking ahead for the Calgary Flames, what do? This is a team that does need a shakeup. They were in the Pierre-Luc Dubois conversation. They should be in the Jack Eichel conversation. Are those two guys that I mentioned a part of the answer going forward here? This, to me, is about Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan. I know there's other players, Matthew Tkachuk. He's going to be a part of the answer. He needs an elite center to play with at some point in time. But those two guys, those two star players that have been Calgary for a long time, but you know what Calgary hasn't had in a long time? Playoff success. And it draws back to those guys. It links back to those guys. So to me, this is about the leadership in Calgary and the star players. And where do you go from here? Can they turn it around now? Or is Brad Treliving going to shake this up big time? I feel as though they need to.
And really, if you even look at Chris Tanev, I mean, Mark Giordano, love him, great player, Norris a couple years ago, and he's still a pretty good defenseman even at his age. But knowing that he's getting to that age and you're going to have to replace his offensive play driving, again, I come back to the offseason and why it was overrated. Chris Tanev, great player, nice, stay-at-home defenseman, does all those things well, but you're not really paying attention to the issues that are on your roster and trying to fix those problems. You're just trying to paper over the cracks by saying, hey, if we play better defense, somehow we'll figure this out. And that's not what the Flames needed here. That's why their offseason was overrated.
Okay, one thing you're completely ignoring with all of these players, the two that we mentioned specifically in Markstrom and Tanev and those offseason additions, the leadership, something that's lacking in Calgary right now. A reason that you go after both of those players is, yes, they're good players to begin with, but Reach, what are we figuring out about Calgary? Something's amiss in that room. And Markstrom, from his history in Vancouver, was a leader in that room. Chris Tanev, he was the dad of that locker room. So this, to me, is an indictment of who's in Calgary and the leadership group that they have there. When you're in the first couple of weeks of the season and you have to have a players only meeting to kick off the year, yeah, good luck with that. There's more to these signings than just their on-ice play. They needed leadership in that room, and that's what Markstrom and Tanev really appealed to, and that's why they needed him. That's why this statement is a deep reach. It was not overrated. You hit us up in our mentions, hit us up in the comments, and let us know if you agree. Is it a good take or a deep reach? And always like and subscribe. Until next time.